Assalamualaikum, my name is Sikandar and welcome back to another part of the City Guide application. Today we are going to perform the authentication or the Firebase authentication in the Android. So before getting started, please watch all the video because I am going to explain all the errors and the setups happening in my previous videos. So let's just have a look what we are going to create. So let's run our application. So our application is running. So click on this plus icon. And in here you can see we have two options. We are going for the sign up. Let's add all the details because we already added authentication or the validation here. Click next, select the gender and select the age, at least 14 years of age. Click next, and in here we can select the country as per on requirements, but by default your country will be selected. Then we need to define the phone number on which we are going to receive the authentication. When the user is going to click the next, let's just wait for a few seconds. Make sure that the internet is on and the code has arrived. You can see the message and also a toast for the verification completed. So this is how, and the code is automatically being placed inside these text fields. So this is what we are going to create. Okay, so open the Android Studio, and inside, before going to start the coding, you need to set up the authentication. So for that, go to the tools and go to the Firebase, and a Firebase assistant will appear here, and inside you can search for the authentication. Click on it, and you can see in the previous video we configured and set up authentication as well. We connect our application to the Firebase and we also set the dependencies for authentication. So if you don't know, please go and check the previous video. Once it's done, minimize it and open the browser, and inside open the Firebase and the project we have just created, and inside you need to go to the authentication section from the left menu, and at the top you can see we have sign in method. Click on it as we are going to perform the phone authentication. So you can see currently it is disabled, so click on this pencil icon and click enable and save it. Once it is enabled, you just have to close it and come back here, and inside you can see we have an activity, sign up activity. Basically this is the last activity of the sign up screen, in which we have phone number and country code picker. So I have assigned IDs to country code picker and also to the phone number, and my user is going to click on this next button, and on its on click function we are calling basically call verify OTP screen. So let's go back to the Java file, and here is call verify OTP screen. So before start coding, you need to create text input layout variable and country code picker. Then we create hooks. Basically this is for the animation, so you don't have to create it if you are not following the design. So this is for the text fields. After creating a hook, we are basically, when the user is going to call this function, we first validate the phone number, and if there is error we are basically returning it. Otherwise we get all the data from the previous activities, and in here before calling the next activity we need to get the phone number. Basically a simple way, dot get edit text dot get text dot to string. So we have a phone number here. Now to create a complete country code, we just have to create a new string with a phone number, and you can see I have added a plus icon in string, then a plus concatenation with another string which is country code picker dot get full number. So what this line is going to do is basically get only the digits of the country code like 9192. So we have added plus by ourselves, and then we have a phone number entered by the user. So make sure that this format should be accurate. This is the second problem most of the time people are getting, because the format of the phone number is not valid. So please again make sure that your phone number should be as per your international requirements, international phone number with plus with country code and your phone number. So once it's done, we are just passing all the data to the next activity, and again we need to pass phone number here. We need to define the string, and then this is going to be complete phone number. So we are passing this phone number here as it is a complete phone number. Now we are going to receive it at the next end. If you don't know how to pass the data, if you don't know how to do the validations, please check the previous videos. I have defined all these things. Okay, so let's go back to the OTP screen in which we are going to perform the validation. So in here you can see we have a pin view. So I have just added the ID, which is pin_view. So let's go back to the Java and created a pin view variable with its hook as well. And now in here, let's get started with the validation. So the first thing we need to do is we need a phone number. It is inside the intent, so we have to write get intent dot get string extra, and in here we need to define the name, which is phone number. It should be exactly same as we have defined in the previous class. So let's just copy it and paste it. So we have our phone number inside the new activity. Okay, before getting started with the validation, I just want to explain the flow of the phone authentication. The first thing we need is a phone number, and we already received the phone number. So once we have a phone number, the next step we are going to perform is to send the code on a specified phone number to the user. So when the phone number is sent, we have three further options. The one is there is some failure, phone number has not sent to the user. In that case, we are going to show the error. The second case, the phone number is sent to the same device which basically requested the phone number. And the third case is the phone number sent to another device, but the user is going to manually write the code inside their device. So the first one is the failure, then automatic way, and then the manual way. The failure will end, it is not going to move further. In the automatic way, the next step is going to be perform the authentication, and in the manual way, we will get the code from the system and then match the code entered by the user. When the user is going to click on the verify button, we will get the code from the system, and we will also get the code from the user and again authenticate it. And after the authentication, we will perform the successful message or the error message. So that is the flow basically. So now let's get started with the coding. So as I told you, the first step is going to be, let's create a function. Send verification code to user, and inside let's pass the phone number. So basically this is going to be first function. So click on this bulb and create a method. We have a predefined function inside the Firebase document. So let's open the browser, and in it search for the firebase.google.com and go for the documents, and in here select get started for Android, and from the left menu search for the authentication, and again go for the Android and search for phone number. And now in here you can see we have already implemented all the steps. So this is basically a function we need. So let's just copy this and head back toward this function. Now inside you just have to paste it. So for the first one, press Alt Enter, import the class, and then again press Alt Enter to import the second class. So we need to change this phone number with this phone number, and this is basically a time it will take to send the message, and its unit is in seconds. So we need to change this to task executors dot main thread, because we want to start a thread instead of just writing this. So this thing is basically an instance we haven't created yet. Okay, as I told you, we send the notification or the OTP to this phone number specified over here, and now to handle all the three operations we need to create callbacks. So basically this is an instance, so let's create a callback. So write private phone auth provider dot on verification state change callbacks, and in here we need to define this class variable to m callbacks, the same name we have defined here, so it should be same, is equal to, right on the next line, new, and then the same thing, phone auth provider dot on verification state change callback, the first one. So when you write it, it is going to override basically two functions. So we need to override the third manual function by ourselves. So let's remove the error by adding a semicolon. Okay, the first function is basically verification completed. This is the automatic way, remember, and then this is a verification failed. So in the verification field, let's just create a toast. write the toast.e.get message. So basically this is going to show the message that the format is there's something wrong with the format and something like that. And this is basically a verification completed. So let's just override the manual one. So right click, go to the generate, and inside override methods and on code sent, we need to override this. Click OK. The code is basically in this string s. So if we need to get the code, we are going to create a global string code by system, and inside this function, after this line, just we need to code by system is equal to s. That's it. Now we have this code inside the global variable, and we can use it to compare with the user entered code. And now inside this on verification completed, we will first get the code. String code is equal to, basically this code is a system entered code. So phone auth credential, basically this variable dot get SMS code, and that's it. We have code in here. So let's just add a if code is not equal to null. If the code is not null, then we can set this code on the fields by ourselves, pinview dot set text, and in here we can set the code, and that's it. Basically it contains 6 digits, and you can see we have already 6 digits. So when we are going to set the text, it is automatically fill all these fields so user can see the code has arrived. And after that, to start the verification, we are going to create another function, verify code, and pass this code as well, and that's it. Now we need to create this function, create method verify. Okay, now inside the verify code, so write phone auth credential, create its variable is equal to phone auth provider dot get credential, and inside the get credential you can see we need to pass 2 strings so they can be compared. Basically the first one code by system, and the system basically send the code, and then the second code is going to be this code. Basically this is the code we have passed from this function. So this is code the user is going to receive, or the user is going user have to enter this code. So we consider that the user entered this code and this code has been sent from the system, so they should be compared in an automatic way. Now let's create the last function in which user is going to perform something when the successful authentication, and again if the authentication is not successful. So let's say sign in, and in here we need to pass this credential, and that's it. So let's create that method. Okay, before going to call this method, let's say we are currently inside the verify code and the code has been arrived automatically, but now we need to pass this code when the user entered the next button or the manual method. So let's just minimize it. Okay, let's go back to the OTP, and in here when the user is going to click on this button, we need to perform the manual authentication. So on the on click, we are already calling some function which is call next screen from OTP. So call next screen from OTP is here, and inside we were calling the next activity. For now let's not call the next activity, delete this, and inside we first need to get the string or get the code entered by the user here. String code is equal to dot get text dot toString, and then we need to check if code dot is empty, and we need a not sign. If the code is not empty, let's call the verify code method, and we need to pass code here. So now you can see this code is being passed by the user. So we have passed this code entered by the user to this function, and it is going to perform the credential login sign up. And now to get started with this sign in using credentials, you just have to open the browser again, and again go back, scroll down, and in the point 4 you can see sign in the user function, and you just have to copy it. This is basically the same function, sign in with phone auth credential. Add back over here, and let's just paste it, and we need to change the name. Just copy it from here and change it in the verify code, minimize it, and now we just have to press Alt Enter to import the classes. Again press Alt Enter, again Alt Enter, and again Alt Enter. Okay, let's just delete everything here. In the if, in the else, let's just delete this log message and also the text over here. Okay, so we need to change mauth. Inside this function, let's just create Firebase auth is equal to Firebase auth dot get instance, and let's just copy and paste it over here. In here, the task, if the task dot is successful, else if there is some error with the task. So again we are just going to create a toast verification not okay, so that's it. If the task dot is successful, in the next video, let's just create a toast for now, but in the next video we are going to store the data to the Firebase inside this function verification completed. So let's just try to run the application. Okay, our application is running. So we are in the dashboard. When the user click on this plus icon, he is going to have the login sign up options. If you are new, you can create all the videos. So click on this sign up, and user have to fill all these fields. Then we need to select the gender, and we have to select some small age because we have validation check for the at least 14 years of age to create this account. Then click next. And in here now you can see we have by default country code, and then we need to define the phone number here and click next. Now you can see at the start I have not added 0 because I want to make sure that it is a complete country code. So let's hit the next button, and the code has arrived. You can see the message and also a toast for the verification completed. So this is how, and the code is automatically be placed inside these text fields. Okay, so that's it for authentication. And if you are facing the error, which is basically the app is not authorized to use the authentication, so for that let's go to the Gradle, because we have to add the SHA1 certificate inside the Firebase. So for that, go to the Gradle and open the project City Guide, and in here you can see we have a task and app. Open the task, open the Android, and in here we have a signing report. So double click on it and it will generate the SHA1 for us. So here is the SHA1 for this project. So you just have to copy it and open the browser. To add the SHA1 in the project in the Firebase, you have to click on this gear icon in the Firebase and click on project settings, and in here we need to search for mine is already added, but let's just delete this. And in your case you can see something like that, there is no SHA1 certificate here. So add fingerprint and just paste the code, and you can see the SHA1 is highlighted. This means that this is SHA1 certificate, and click save. And by this way you can add the SHA1 certificate to your projects. So this is how you can tackle that error. So that's it for this tutorial. If you learned something new, please like the video, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe it because more amazing things are coming. Again, thank you for watching. Take care. Allah Hafiz.